Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cat's Track. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this with your friends. Today's episode is with our friend, Alina Martin. Alina was born at the General Hospital in Calgary. She tells me that she feels lucky to be loved by people who are incredibly interesting, who also think that her quirks are an asset, not a liability. So fun. Besides her loved ones, Alina is extremely passionate about many, many things. In fact, she feels like she does not have enough life to live all her passions, but she's going to try. She loves building business, especially ones that link back to doing something good for the community. Alina is a feminist to her core, I understand, girlfriend, and does everything and anything in her power to support, showcase, buy, love, and cheer on female entrepreneurs. She also loves cooking, especially Italian, and is very much a foodie at heart. Her favorite thing in the world is to go around to the countries and eat her way around it. So funny. She also loves reading, decorating, and being in nature. Friend, you'll find her full bio attached. Alina, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm very much looking forward to what you have to say. Are you ready for the questions I sent you?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Excellent. Okay, why do you do what you're doing in the world of work?
That's a good question. I'm doing lots of things, which I like diversity, so I guess that's a good thing. Really, my full-time job right now is the CEO and co-founder of the Harvest Hub. We're really focused on bringing local food and growing in sustainable ways indoors, at the same time creating greener futures, so using greener energy. And that's been a crazy adventure. It's been a really fun adventure. I'm also dabbling in a whole bunch of other things, which has also been really fun. But I love to build. It's in my blood. It's in my DNA. I love to build things. And I'm super passionate, like you sort of described, about women in business and about businesses that are impactful in different ways, and focusing on building, sustainable businesses for the future. So I love to build things, period.
That's exciting. So let me ask you this before we go on to the next phase. I'm curious. You like building. What happens when it gets to a point where it starts to maintain? Do you get bored?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes. I find I do get bored. I love the intricacies. There's this place between startup and the place between where your business is really kind of big and sort of firing kind of on all cylinders, and you have lots of people doing lots of interesting things and leading big teams and doing that. I don't like that, and I don't like the real grindy startup stuff. I love the stuff in the middle. I always joke, if you give me the product or service, tell me a few things about it, I can scale it. And I really like that part. I like the beginnings of that. I like branding. I like all those sort of components. And so I'm working on a couple businesses right now that's exactly the stage that they're in. And that's where I find my sweet spot is. That's the stuff I really love. And then when it gets really big, like when it gets to the point where, you've got a couple layers in between you and a big giant board of directors, I'd rather work on the board of director side and help from a strategic perspective than kind of on the other side. So I would say, yeah, I for sure, I get a little bored when it gets a little consistent, I guess.
Understand completely.
Yeah.
Okay, the next part. The next phase with what it is you'd like to discuss in terms of the top 3 things that you'd like to share with the audience today.
Oh yeah, I thought about that. I would say, and maybe because it's just top of mind. So I would say travel. We actually just booked 2 trips. And so I'm optimistic that the world is going to come back. I love to travel. We're just in the middle of planning a really big trip to Europe. So I'm really excited about that. It's not till 2022, but we'll see what happens in between now and then. I'm a huge proponent of travel. I think it teaches you so many things in this world. There's nothing better than immersing yourself in some really neat culture that's not sort of your kind of typical North American culture. I love that. The other thing, Sean and I, my husband, and actually that we're doing is we're having a competition this year to see if we can not buy any clothing for 12 months. And I mean, nothing. Like, it was funny. Sean said to me the other day, he's like, so like no underwear? And I was like, nothing. I'm like, what you got is what you got. And what's really funny about that is over the last couple of weeks, he's been wearing pants. And I'm like, hey, where did those pants come from? And he's like, well, since we're not buying anything, he's like, I'm digging out all my old stuff. But it's a super, super good lesson we're drowning in stuff, like we're just really drowning in stuff. I've really worked hard the last couple of years to really get rid of a lot of stuff and man alive. So that's fun. I challenge anybody to do that. It's pretty easy, 12 months. You don't really need to buy anything. I'm sure we all have everything that we need. So that's good. The third thing is about Stoicism. I've been practicing Stoicism for the last couple of years. I was introduced to it about 4 years ago, and I've really been aggressively practicing it for the last 2 years. It's made a huge impact in my life. And I think Stoicism, once you kind of unwind it, it's a foundation of philosophy, really, spirituality, and sort of living your life. And it's really, really, really shifted my focus on a lot of things. So those are kind of the three big buckets.
I love it. Go a little deeper on how that makes you feel.
Oh, which part? Stoicism?
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, Stoicism. I could talk about Stoicism for hours. The main philosophy of Stoicism for me, I break it down into two things. One is stop trying to control what you can't control. So there's lots of things in this world we cannot control, although we try to. Just let go of those things. They lead to a much calmer, purposeful life. And the second piece of that is that we're all dying. Every day we're dying, and death is inevitable for all of us. None of us are getting out of here alive, so to speak. And live your life based with that mindset, because it'll make you act quicker. It'll make you choose to do the things that resonate with you deeply. It'll form the foundation for your decision-making power. And that's been life-changing for me. Every morning I read, I journal, I sit and meditate. I do all of these things every morning. And it's a bit of work, there's no question, but it is foundationally worth it. I mean, it can change your whole outlook. And I don't check my emails, not the first thing I do anymore. And that's been really, I would say, helpful for my mental health for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And how about in terms of the opportunity on the horizon, the new frontier?
That's so hard to quantify, like we're in this kind of COVID crazy time. And, if you get down in the kind of, you get your brain sort of down in these tunnels and you think to yourself, this is never ending. This is terrible. I want to leave my house. I want to do all these things, or your business is really hurting, or you've lost something, or all these things. I don't want to minimize the impact that COVID is having on many, many, many of us, not just from a financial perspective, economic perspective, also from our families. People have really been torn apart by this. We've lost people. But I will say, with all of that said, all of those terrible events, there are a lot of positivities on the horizon. There's a lot of opportunities ahead of us. And that's what I'm really excited about. It was funny. If you asked me to pick one opportunity, I can't. I feel blessed and grateful. I just have so many. And it's sorting through all of those opportunities. I just feel like, the world and the earth is turning a bit of a corner here. And I believe that COVID is sort of resetting that and giving its foundation for new life. And so I think there's opportunities everywhere. I think it just depends where you look and how you have your lens on, right? The world has changed, and you can either change with it, or you can either stay in the past and try and hold on to what you have, or you can let go and create opportunity in that.
Awesome. That is excellent. Thank you so much, Alina. I really appreciate your words of wisdom.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone. Alina Martin, an amazing person who absolutely loves so many things. It's great. Positive energy. Thanks for joining us on Cats Track, and we'll see you next time.